Intro hook for YouTube viewers. He didn't know her name. She didn't say much. Just a broken bike, a tear-stained face, and a little boy clinging to her hand. No one could have guessed that a simple act of kindness on a dusty afternoon would lead to healing wounds buried for years. If stories of quiet compassion and life-changing encounters move your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Everyday Grace. Every week, we bring you stories that remind us, even the smallest kindness can carry the weight of a miracle. The story begins. It was a Saturday in late October, one of those in-between days where the sun is soft but the air carries a whisper of winter. Daniel, a retired mechanic in his late 50s, had just opened the small workshop he ran out of his garage. He didn't do it for the money anymore. He did it because fixing things gave him peace, unlike his past, which was full of noise, regret, and a silence that had grown between him and his only daughter, Ellie. They hadn't spoken in 6 years, not after that last fight, not after he'd said things a father should never say and she'd walked out with a newborn in her arms that morning. Daniel was adjusting the gears on a neighbor kid's bicycle when he saw her, a woman pushing a bike with a bent wheel, her clothes dusty, her hair pulled back tight, her face tense. Beside her walked a little boy, maybe 6 or 7, struggling to keep up. She paused at the end of his driveway, looked hesitant. Looked like she had nowhere else to go? Bike trouble? Daniel asked, wiping his hands on a rag. She looked startled, like she wasn't used to people offering help. "It's my son's," she said quietly. "The front wheels bent. We were trying to get to school, but it gave out." Daniel walked over and gently took the handlebars. "I can fix it," he said. "Won't take long." She hesitated. "We don't have money." He smiled. "Lucky for you, I don't charge kids." A connection begins. The boy's name was Max. As Daniel worked, Max wandered curiously around the garage, asking questions about tools and parts. Daniel, who hadn't heard a child's voice in years, found himself smiling more than usual. The mother, whose name was Sarah, stood off to the side. She looked worn, not just tired, but heavy, like someone carrying more than just bags and burdens. "You just moved here?" Daniel asked casually. Sarah nodded. "A few streets over. It's just me and Max. New place, new start." He didn't pry. He just nodded. He knew about needing a new start. As the wheel straightened and the spokes aligned, Sarah stepped forward. "You're good with kids," she said softly. Daniel's hands paused. "I used to be," he said, "before I forgot how." She didn't ask, but something about her eyes, curious, gentle, made him continue. "I had a daughter," he said. "Still do, I guess. But we haven't spoken in years." Sarah looked at him like she understood. "Family's hard. Expected visits. That first visit wasn't the last. Max's bike would break again a week later, though Daniel suspected some of those repairs were excuses. Sarah would bring muffins or tea, and little by little, laughter started filling the workshop. One afternoon, while tightening a bolt, Max asked, "Do you have grandkids?" Daniel froze. "No," he said slowly. "I might have. I don't know anymore." Sarah looked away, but that day she stayed longer. Asked about his past. And Daniel, who had kept his pain locked away like rusted tools, started talking. He told her about Ellie, how she had gotten pregnant young, how he hadn't supported her choice. How angry words had driven her away, how regret had set in too late. Sarah didn't judge. She just listened. "Sometimes," she said, saying sorry isn't about getting forgiveness. It's about giving it to yourself first. The real fix begins. It was a cold Friday evening when everything changed. Daniel was closing up when Sarah knocked. Her face was pale. "Max is in the hospital," she said, her voice shaking. "He collapsed at school. I don't have anyone to watch him tonight. I just needed someone who cares." Daniel didn't hesitate. He drove her to the hospital, waited through the night, held her hand when the doctor said it was only a minor infection, but that Max needed rest. They stayed until morning. And when Max woke up, he smiled gradually and whispered, "Grandpa's here." Daniel's heart cracked wide open. He looked at Sarah. And for the first time, she didn't look like a stranger. Truths and second chances that evening. Back at home, Daniel took out an old photo of Ellie and held it in his weathered hands. was a fool, he whispered. And I think it's time to say it out loud. With Sarah's help, he found Ellie's number tucked deep in his old contacts. His hands trembled as he dialed. The phone rang once, twice, and then, "Hello?" It was her, older, stronger, still familiar. There was a long silence. "Ellie," he said, voice cracking. "I've been waiting 6 years to say something. I was wrong about everything. And I miss you so much." There was silence. Then, sniffle dot, and then words he never thought he'd hear again. "I've been waiting 6 years to hear you say that." The ending, mended wheels, mended hearts. A few weeks later, Ellie visited with her daughter. Daniel stood on the porch, tears in his eyes as his granddaughter ran into his arms. Sarah and Max were there too, watching, smiling. It was a strange little group connected by a flat tire, a broken heart, and a choice to show kindness. And as the kids played in the yard, Daniel looked at Sarah and said, "Funny thing, I thought I was fixing a bike. Turns out you all helped fix me." Final message to viewers: sometimes the people we're meant to help are the ones sent to help us. Kindness doesn't always come with a sign, but it always leaves a mark. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to Everyday Grace, because every week we share stories that remind us healing often begins with one quiet act of love.